If you've been online the past couple of years, you've probably read at least one negative thing regarding Captain America Brave New World. Maybe it was something about reshoots, a script rework, failed test screenings, or just some extremely unwarranted hate due to the fact that Sam Wilson is taking on the mantle of Captain America. But the movie came out last week, I've seen it, and I've had the ability to form my own honest opinion. Captain America Brave New World is a slow paced political thriller that tackles the question, what happens when a seemingly undeserving man receives one of the most powerful positions in the US and is driven by the influence of those around him and his own shortcomings to be placed in a position to fail? And if you think I'm talking about Sam Wilson, I'm not. And that's the problem. If you were hoping this movie would tackle the interesting question and social implications of Sam Wilson, an African American, taking on the mantle, you're gonna be disappointed. And if you were hoping we would skip all that socio-political stuff and get right into a movie about Captain America kicking ass, you're also gonna be disappointed. Ultimately, this film feels more like a legacy sequel to The Incredible Hulk, where Bruce Banner is very noticeably absent. Harrison Ford takes over the role of Thunderbolt Ross, and by all accounts, it's his film. The main conflict is surrounding his presidency, the antagonist's entire mission is pointed towards him, and he's given most of the interesting work to do here. The film literally opens and closes on his character. Frankly, if you wanted to see Captain America 4, led by Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, you're better off watching The Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney+. Mackie does continue to shine as Sam, and in the moments when he's able to lean into the character's history as a veterans counselor and have genuine connections with his supporting cast, he really feels like a star. At the end of the day, this feels more like a movie that Cap is in and not a movie about Cap. Outside an abandoned titular character and an extremely slow and predictable political mystery, there are some redeeming qualities about the film. Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon, is extremely charming. Every time he was on screen, he brought an energy and a life that was really missed from the rest of the film. One of the most heartfelt moments in the movie come from an interaction he and Sam have regarding the responsibility of a hero and how they are a pillar of greatness that you can aspire to. These are the kind of conversations you'd hope would happen in a Captain America film where Steve Rogers has passed on the mantle. But instead, we undercut that moment by immediately jumping back to fulfill President Ross's really undeserved character arc. The action set pieces were also incredibly noteworthy. Sam's use of the shield and the wings are really entertaining to watch, when he wasn't suddenly exploding with Black Panther's energy blast. Some of the aerial fight sequences definitely took some inspiration from Top Gun Maverick, but they suffer from dialogue that feels it needs to constantly tell you what's happening on the screen, rather than letting the action speak for itself. The CGI-heavy battles were nothing compared to the hand-to-hand moments, especially when Sam lined up against Sidewinder without his gear. If the rumors regarding the reshoots being geared towards more action, I think it was money well spent. Speaking of Sidewinder and reshoots, Giancarlo Esposito is an extremely interesting villain, as always. I think a movie much more focused on his Serpent Society and their vendetta against Cap could have been much more interesting to explore. He certainly feels disconnected from the rest of the plot, but there's a lot of promise between him and Sam, and I hope it's interactions you follow up on. Carl Lumbly's Isaiah Bradley makes a return in this film, which to anyone having skipped out on the Disney Plus miniseries might have been an extremely confusing relationship. I heard some people thought that it was his dad, but regardless, the plotline more centered around his origin or exploring some repercussions with him now being out in the public also could have made for a much more interesting narrative. Bradley's character has such a rich history both in the comics and established in the MCU. There's also so much parallel storytelling between Bradley, Sam, and even President Ross that could have been explored. But at the end of the day, Bradley's inclusion just feels like they were checking off the cameo box. And frankly, the film has so many threads that, if explored a little bit deeper, could result in much better storytelling. So many different ideas are introduced in the film, and so many of them have promised to be something great, but overstuffing and lack of follow-through ultimately makes this film lack any sort of real impact. And not to mention, slight spoiler warning here, the big third act reveal of the movie is the Red Hulk. The one that's in every promotional image and every trailer. In a political thriller that's setting up a mystery about something suspicious happening around the president, that being the twist was so unrewarding. Especially the fact that immediately after he transforms, we have an extra make a quippy joke. An extra! Not even a character with a name. Is there a possibility that they had to lean into this after some McDonald's toys leaked a year ago because of all of the delays? Maybe, but if Disney had faith in this movie without the draw of a big red Hulk, they should have held that big red card much closer to the chest. All in all, Captain America Brave New World is an unfortunately forgettable film. Coming at a time where Marvel could really use a standout lead for the Avengers and a solid standalone film that doesn't require the 30 other bits of homework, this feels like an ellipses on a rather low point of the franchise. Look, I really wanted to like this movie. And I mean that, not just as an MCU fan, as a Sam Wilson Captain America fan. I really hope these characters are given a fair shot and that we're able to see Sam Wilson play out in a full trilogy. But I guess we'll see what happens after Secret Wars. If you're not a fan of the MCU, I would honestly recommend you skip this one. And if you are a fan, be prepared for some decent action sequences, some good laughs, but some choppy storytelling that feels as slapped together as that post-credits scene, which might be the worst one we've had in some time. But what do you think? Did you see Captain America Brave New World? Are you going to see it? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to chat about Captain America or any other movie live, I stream on Twitch every single Monday. I hope to see you there.